welcome back to my channel. My name is Tracy and today's Casing the Catalogue is actually from the Annual Catalogue. It's been a little while since we've been using the Annual. This is a really great card though. It's using a new stamp set that I haven't had for very long. This one here, it's on page 117, Swirly Frames. It's a really nice stamp set. The cardware casing is this one down the very bottom here. And it also uses the Free as a Bird stamp set. So we're incorporating two different stamp sets from the Annual Catalogue. This is the card we're creating. Let's get over to the craft table and we'll get started. The supplies needed for today's card are the Free as a Bird stamp set. And we're also using the Swirly Bird frames. These are both available in the Annual Catalogue. Inks for today are Memento Tuxedo Black ink. We've also got some really great colours here. We have Petal Pink, Granny Apple Green, Pool Party, Calypso Coral, Soft Suede and Sahara Sand. We have the Whisper White Polka Dot ribbon as well as some linen thread. We're using the second and fourth largest circle from the Layering Circle dies. We're also using a blender pen to do a little bit of colouring of these images, so a little bit of fun. I have my card kit here and it's all ready to go. Now you can find all the measurements and supplies for this card kit over my blog. There is a link to that blog post in the description of this video. There's also clickable links to the supplies that I've used today. If you're interested in making this card and you would need any supplies, I would love it if you could purchase through my online store. Pop in the hostess code for this month and not only will I send you a handmade project or card, I'll send you a bundle tutorial via your inbox, and these are printable PDF tutorials. It's a really great inspiration for you. And if you're spending over $50, you'll also earn yourself Inky rewards. So another great saving through shopping with me. So we have Pool Party card base, and this is half a piece of A4. It's been scored in half. I'm just going to fold and burnish on that score line. Bring my bone folder in to do that properly. We also have another piece of Pool Party that we're going to cut, that we're going to stamp with the Swirly Bird frames. We have a larger piece of Daffodil Delight for our background here. We have another piece that we're going to die cut with our circle. We're going to do our circle frame with the crumb cake here. I have some Whisper White to be able to do all these little die cuts and stamping, and then I have another piece of Whisper White for our sentiment. So let's get started with our stamping, shall we? I'm going to start off with a piece of Pool Party, and I have that gorgeous rectangle stamp here, and I'm going to ink that up in Pool Party ink. So because it's such a large stamp, I find it's easier to take the pad to the stamp. And I'm just going to turn this over and line up. I haven't got my head in the way, so I'm hoping that it's lined up properly. It's a little hard when you can't get right over it. Well, that didn't ink very well. That's okay, it'll be covered hopefully with our pieces, so that'll be alright. No, let's do it again. A little indecisive, aren't I? Let's see if we can do a little bit better job this time. I'm just going to turn that cardstock over as well, because I'm never going to be able to line that up again. But there's two sides to the cardstock, so an easy way to fix it. I probably should have put my mat down, my stamping mat. Let's see if that works better. Okay, so I still miss this bit, but that's okay. We're going to cover that up anyway. I'm going to bring in that larger piece of the Daffodil Delight, and we're going to use the Sahara Sand ink and the Swirly Bird frames. We're using the large one that we've just used. We're using the circle here, and we're also using this stitched long piece as well. And we're going to stamp that in Sahara Sand on the Daffodil Delight. So let's quickly do that. Doesn't quite measure all the way across, so we're just going to finish it off there. I think I need to re-ink all my ink pads. I wanted it to be light anyway, so, but I definitely need to get my re-inker out. If you're doing this at home, take your time. I'm sort of rushing a little bit, so I'm not getting the best image. Okay. And while we have that out, let's bring in that other piece of Daffodil Delight, and we're going to ink up the larger bird stamp. I'm going to be colouring these in with a little bit of the ink and also using a stamping blend. Now these have liquid inside that just helps blend that ink. So I have Granny Apple Green for those little leaves. And that's a little bit darker than I was wanting. So I'm just adding a little bit of colour in. I think these ones down here are not going to really be seen because of the sentiment. But we might as well just colour the whole lot in, that way it's all covered. And one there as well. The leaves we're going to colour, sorry, the flowers here we're going to colour in with Calypso Coral. I'm also just going to use a scrap bit of paper just to get that Granny Apple Green off. So bringing the petal pink in. If you don't already have ink on your ink pad, you just need to close it back up again and squeeze the ink pad together. That will put a little bit in your lid to use. Super cute. Cleaning off the marker. We have the pool party now, and we're just going to do the top of the birds' heads. So not a lot of colouring in there, it's pretty simple. I'm going to pop that to the side because we're going to die cut that piece. Let's bring in that larger piece of Whisper White, and we're going to use the Memento Tuxedo black ink to do some stamping. Now in the Free as a Bird stamp set we have a larger flower, a smaller flower, and then a bud. So we're going to do one of the large flower, two of the smaller flowers, and also one of the bud. Now I'm just going to move that to the side to let that dry before we start colouring it in. Actually, bring it back in. We also have a leaf in here that we have to stamp as well. So let me get a block for that, and I left that one out. And we're just going to have one of those. Excellent. So let's move that to the side to let that dry just for a minute. I'm going to bring the sentiment piece of our Whisper White in, and we're stamping with the petal pink and that sentiment that says the world needs more of you. a beautiful sentiment. We'll cut that on down when we're ready as well. Last little piece that we have to stamp is the crumb cake ink, and we're stamping that one with the soft suede ink and that circle. So we had trouble with the square. Let's bring that matte in and see if that helps this time round. You can use, if you don't have one of these, you can use many different things. Mouse pad. You can also stamp on top of some catalogues. That works. Just gives you that extra bit of cushioning. Excellent. Okay, this should be dry now, so we can bring in all those colours again and do a little bit more colouring. So we have the granny apple green, so quick easy colouring. I like that it looks a little bit rustic. It's not perfect. And we're also going to do the bud just along that bottom of the bud. The next one we're going to colour is the petal pink, and we're pretty much colouring the whole flowers in. We're going to go in with the Calypso Coral and just give those highlights. So definitely not taking a lot of care in that. It looks a little bit rustic. Calypso Coral now, and we're just going to do the centres, add a little bit of extra detail in. Make sure you clean off your blender pen every time you use it. So before we bring the big shot in to do our die cutting, let's fussy cut this out. I'm going to actually fast forward this just to make it a little bit quicker for you as well. Fussy cutting's complete. Let's bring in the big shot and we'll do some of our die cutting. I have the crumb cake card. We're going to use that larger of the two dies to cut the outside and the other one for the inside. I'm also going to use that larger of the dies to cut out the Daffodil Delight cardstock. Okay, so we're going to start popping the card all together. The Pool Party rectangle stamped piece, we are just going to glue down with some Tombow glue. Just centering that in the middle. Then we're going to glue down the Daffodil Delight piece that we stamped with the Sahara sand. And that goes across the edge of the card. Now we're going to turn this one over and we're going to pop some mini dimensionals all the way around, and you can see I didn't like how that one's cut out, so I stamped the other side, but I don't like it even more than that one, so we're going to go with the right side. Going to bring some mini dimensionals in, and I'm just going to place some mini dimensionals around the edge. And this is going to be stuck down onto a bird stamped circle. Now, being that it's the same dimension as that circle here, it should just go nicely over the top. I've got one sticking out just a little bit. Let me bring my paper snips in. Try and cut that down a little. That looks cute, doesn't it? So I'm going to work out where I need it. So I need to chop down the sides. I need to actually take that one out. So we're going to stick some dimensionals just in here in the bottom of that circle, and I'm going to use just the normal size, regular size. And once we get it into place, we can do our banner cut and then also clean up that edge. So moving it back into position. Cutting off that excess bit, and I'm also going to trim it down and create the banner cut. Pretty cute so far. I'm happy with that area, so I'm just going to glue that one down with some Tombow glue. Now, one thing I have noticed is my outer circle is actually smaller than my sample, so I think it should be the largest. The largest circle. Okay, so that's glued down. Now we're going to start gluing down some of our pieces. I'm going to start off with our leaves. And these ones are all popped up. So before we start popping these all up, we're going to pop in our polka dot trim. And I just need just a little length, because that's going to be folded over. It's just going to peek out from underneath. So like that. And I'm just going to put a little bit of tear and tape down to keep that down into place. Oh, that's a little bit too long. There we go. If I pull that back, that's now going to give me the area to place the linen thread bow. So we're going to do a fairly big bow there. We're just sticking it down onto that tear and tape there so it sits nicely. I'm going to bring in some mini dimensionals and pop down on the two buds. Oops. We're also going to pop them down on the two flowers. Oh. But I'm going to use a normal size dimensional for the larger flower. So let me just start popping these down. I think these tails are just a little bit too long. There we have it. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed today's case. If you have, please give me a thumbs up, and I'd love it if you left me a comment. All the measurements and supplies can be found over my blog. Absolutely love these two stamp sets together, so it's made an amazing card. It could definitely be changed up a little bit with different colours, so maybe something to look at if you're creating this one as well. Until next time, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye bye.